Welcome back to the Elle-Sera podcast. And today we've got Carrie from Renee K Couture. She's a fabulous dress designer. So, Carrie, welcome to the Elle-Sera podcast. I know. I feel like it's so zhuzh today.
It is. I'm very, very jealous of this blowout. I'm loving it.
No,
got
yours is looking pretty fabulous too. So, Carrie, talk to me give me your potted career history. How did you get into doing couture dress design?
You want my life story in
not really.
A 3-second bit?
Yeah, just not your life story. Just kind of like, let's keep it down to,
Well, we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
So obviously you know quite a lot, but there might be some things that you find out today that you actually don't know.
Okay.
I've told a lot of people, but I tell a lot of people a lot of things, and people, obviously, you know yourself when you're on social media, that they think that they know you, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I'm quite defensive as a person, and now you've got little Grace as well.
Yeah,
you become like a
lioness with a cub.
Protecting your cubs. So it's the same with business as well. So I'll tell you, you might pull some more bits out with me as we go along. Who knows? You've got that power. But yes, so I've got I own Renee K Couture. I'm the CEO and founder, and it is a ladies' wear made to measure clothing brand. I've had it for about 23, 24 years now. It's seen it's evolved over the years.
Yeah.
I've taken a couple of times out from it. I've done teaching qualifications. I've done all sorts along the way. I've owned a sewing school. I've owned shops and different businesses, but it's always kind of been there. It's just a talent and a skill that I know that I can call upon. And then in the last decade, it is what it is today as you know it. So if you follow us on social media at Renee K Couture, if you get in there, if you follow us on social media, you'll see that we're a small team, all women. Everything's made in-house in our Lancashire showrooms. We've got beautiful grade 2 listed building. So we've got studios and showrooms, and we all work from there. And everything that leaves that studio goes through my hands, which is a big task, but I love what I do. I absolutely love it. Obviously, there's days, like in every job, that are going to be more difficult than others, but I do love what I do. So I can't really, if I go on holiday, have I told you this?
No.
I hate holidays.
Right.
I know that you're a fan of them. Always see you all over the world, travels.
They're not holidays. They are actual photo shoots for Elle-Sera if HMRC are watching.
Are we going to book one in? I think we've got one in the pipeline, hopefully.
I know, but I need to look
I'm already getting palpitations about that, and we've not even booked anything. But because I have severe anxiety about being out of my comfort zone, I do push myself. But just being away from my business and not being able to sew for more than 2-3 days, I take sewing kits on holiday with me. I'm so sad.
No, I get that.
I live and breathe it. It's not like we buy cheap products from China in a factory. I slap a label on it and then I put it in a nice box and ship it out. I make more or less 99% of everything that goes out of that studio.
I think then that's something that you should identify as if that is giving you anxiety that you can't step away from that business, then you need to get the right team in place, because you should be able to step away from that business. I can tell you now that if I get hit by a bus when I leave here today, Elle-Sera will still run.
Yeah, my company won't.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm working on now.
Yeah, so then you now know that, okay, this is a problem because this place needs to be able to run without me. So I can have a life and can push on, drive the ship. And I don't need to be in the back end.
But not to be offensive, but your product is already made. They're already in packets. They're already ready to ship. You have one product in your tin. Every single garment that gets sent out is different.
I get that.
And it's not scalable in a business sense, but it's completely different business.
Couldn't you just have a great team of girls though, which you have got a great team of girls, and then you're the one who's the face of the brand, you're doing the marketing, you're the one pushing, you're the one who's doing the celebrity collaborations, which we'll get onto, which you do a lot of. I feel like that's really in your skill set and people want you, and you could do all the measuring, but you don't need to make it.
I do. You find me a seamstress that can do what I can do. They've already got a business. Or, the girls that I've got working for me, I say girls, ladies, the team that I have working for me, we've really honed. So this time last year, I had like 8 people working for me. It was too much. Kind of spread myself too thin, trying to spin every single plate. It's not possible. So we have now a smaller team and we're really honing in on what we do best. So at the moment, we're changing up our social media. We're changing the way that we work. A lot of behind the scenes, yourself, website, business, like boring things that people don't kind of think about. But when you own a business, it consumes you. It is what keeps you up at night, what wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, apart from your child. It is like having another child, and you've just got to keep nurturing it and trying different things. And if things don't work, fine, flip it, try something else.
So talk to me about some of the things that have worked for you.
COVID.
Okay.
I thought COVID, I panicked.
Well, that's unusual, because if you look on Carrie's page, on her Instagram page, you will see lots of like bridal wear in terms of the bridesmaids dresses. You do a lot of them. You do a lot of occasion wear. So that seems strange. How did you navigate COVID? How was COVID such a good turning point for you?
So our business used to be, I'd probably say 90% prom. And then I never wanted to work with a bride. I never wanted to work with bridesmaids. I was kind of like fearful of the mother of the bride and this bridezilla thing. I had a really simple wedding. I'm not bothered about people's napkins and colour of chair back things. It doesn't, I'm not bothered by it. So to then get involved in the bridal wear and that whole kind of business, it wasn't for me. But what we do is simplify the process. It just takes the anxiety out of it, I would say. We simplify that bridal process, and it's not that you get one chiffon, cheap polyester fabric dress and put some bone in it and expect you from your size 60, 26 to wear all the same. It doesn't work. You know yourself, every single woman's body is different, and they're going to look different in different styles, or kind of different in the same style. So what we do is we make made to measure. So it's a really modern approach in case you ever are going to get married.
I don't think I'd have bridesmaids. just take the headache out of it and just don't
Grace
have
got to be a bridesmaid.
Little flower girl, but that's about it.
So say that you're having bridesmaids. What we do is we take their measurements. They can either come to the showroom, which we're Lancashire based, but we ship all over the world. So we have a really simple process. Send them a measurement guide. They take their own measurements. It's easy. We're here. We send videos. We send the guide. They take their own measurements, and then they send them to us 1 week before they want the dress, but they've got to pre-order to make sure that we can make it in time. And then what that does is the bridesmaid is wearing the dress. The dress isn't wearing them. Mm-hmm. That it just shines. It's like a torch out of a picture when someone is uncomfortable. It's painful. You can see it. So what we want to do is kind of modernise the bridal industry. Same fabric, different styles. Everybody's body is different, and that's what we do, and that's what we kind of promote on our
socials.
On our socials,
and you must be doing a great job, because you've done some big celebrity weddings. Can you name a few?
Well, this is it. So we start off prom, like I was saying. I go off on a tangent, so rein me back in.
Yeah, trying to.
So we started off at 90% prom, and then we kind of flipped it. So then we went more bridal, and then COVID happened, and then we had 300 orders immediately put on hold.
Right.
We didn't do very many refunds, but we offered it. Obviously, these people needed money to pay for different things and to take them through COVID. Luckily, we didn't do that many refunds. I think people were still hopeful that they were going to get married within the next 3 to 6 months. Now, no, that didn't happen. But within COVID, then we had to bend with the breeze within a week. We went from making 40 to 50 made-to-measure dresses per week to over 200 pieces of loungewear.
Right, wow.
So like I was saying, I never wanted to do bridal. I did.
Yeah.
I never wanted to do loungewear or more ready to wear. I was always about the made to measure because that's what I needed for my body shape, and I wanted to help other women that needed it. So we did bridal, and then we did loungewear, made to measure, but ready to wear as well in standard sizing. So you've got to bend with the breeze. Otherwise, I didn't have a business. I had all those staff. Nobody knew what was going on, much less the government.
Yeah.
So business owners, you know, a lot of people kind of perished in COVID. I wouldn't say we flourished. We survived COVID. We didn't really thrive. We just navigated ourselves into a different area. And I think as a business owner, having a business over nearly 25 years, that is one thing that I know I'm really good at. So if something kind of comes out of the blue, I know that I've got great determination and initiative to go, okay, let's quickly steer over here.
And that's the beauty of having you, I suppose, there at the helm. You're very nimble. You haven't got a load of people to like, you haven't got like.
Yeah, I didn't have to lay any staff off.
Exactly.
Everyone kept their jobs. Admin team and back office could work from home. Everything was, you know, we're always at the end of a phone. We had Zoom meetings. Zoom, love it.
I wish I'd invested in Zoom pre-COVID.
I remember actually at the start of COVID, you'd said, I've got a friend and she's got like a lorry load full of face masks. And I was like, face masks? What? For what? Who's going to be using them? And then when it came in, honestly, you were at the forefront of my mind. I was like, should have invested in face masks.
Yeah, you should have invested in a lot of things.
But yeah.
So to bring it back to your wedding, so you hit off with weddings and did a lot of bridal wear. So whose wedding have you dressed?
So we've done quite a few weddings. We've done everyone from Geordie Shore to Towie and everyone in between. Obviously, we have massive bridal groups. We have one maid of honour with one flower girl. So it goes from anything from one to, I think the most we've had is 22 in a group.
Wow.
And they all had to have a different style and a different shade of pink. That was a headache. I will not lie. But if you can project manage that and remember everyone's measurements and whatever, you know.
Then it's a breeze.
Everything is breeze.
Then it's a
so
breeze.
my favourite I'd probably say was Holly Hagan. That was really good.
Yeah, I love Holly.
Yeah.
I have written all of her books.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, for the next one, can you write me into it with the?
Don't do that anymore. I don't get paid that much to do it. But yeah. It was, she's a great girl. I love Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her.
So they all came to the house. They filmed it for her segment of, I think it was like the OGs or something, Geordie Shore. And Charlotte Crosby, I'd made her dress. So everyone came for the fitting. I'd made all the dresses. They were going to do a lot of filming. We all got together. We all had some Prosecco. And Charlotte was really weird. And I thought she doesn't, because she was really funny about her boobs then. She had a breast reduction since then and had them changed. She was really weird. And I thought, oh, she hates it. And she didn't say much. She didn't stay very long. And then she rang me literally days later and said, I've got something to tell you. I'm pregnant, but I can't tell anybody because I don't want to spoil the wedding and I don't want it to get leaked. You're going to have to make me a new dress. Do you have enough fabric? I haven't even told Holly. She'd not told any of the girls yet. She told Mum and obviously partner. And I was like, okay. I was wondering why you were acting really weird because it fit her perfectly in the fitting. But obviously it was, and I think it was during COVID, so it was 6 months.
Right.
So a whole new dress had to be made. But and then obviously when it came out, I was just so pleased. But there's a lot of secrets that you get told.
Well, speaking of Charlotte,
seamstress.
I bet. But speaking of Charlotte Crosby, you designed one of her most memorable outfits.
Do you have to bring that one up?
And this is the point, I think, Dylan, that if we want to talk about this outfit, I think we should drop it in here for viewers who are watching this because it was outrageous. And this is not to say, like, Carrie...
Do you not like it? I've got one in my bag for you. I brought it today.
Carrie actually didn't design it, but so just I'll describe it for listeners. It was a stretch fabric, orange stretch. Right, if you can imagine like a leotard with one leg and one arm cut out, including the arse cheek cut out on one side.
She has got a good bum.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear it, but she's got a good bum.
No, I mean, she's got the kind of personality that can pull this off.
Yes.
So talk to me about that when she came to you with this. What was the inspiration for this design anyway?
Well, it was for her own show. And I think it was Charlotte in Sunderland for the BBC, and they were filming at the house. So we'd already filmed for Holly with the Geordie Show, the OGs, and we were filming for Charlotte. So she came with her mum. She was heavily pregnant. She still looked fantastic. She had this cute little bump. And she'd come, and the fitting was all filmed. So my reactions were completely real. Obviously, I'm good friends with Charlotte, so we can kind of chat. I'm not like, oh, lovely. It's like, really? Really? You want me to make that? I was like, oh no, please don't. So basically it was a swimming costume in an orange stretch fabric, glittery. I had a glitter on. I don't know if that makes it better.
Right.
We've got a long leg on it. We had a boot cover that went over a shoe. Then we've got a long orange sleeve that I said looked like a marigold.
So it had the fingers in it as well.
Got the first glove I'd ever made.
Right.
That took longer than making the entire outfit.
Yeah.
Not making gloves again. So we've got a full glove, marigold glove going on. And then I'm trying to think if there was anything else where I'd done a choker. I mean, on camera, I was saying to her, this could potentially look like a sparkly traffic cone with a bump. Are you sure you want this? But the theme that she wanted was the complete opposite of neutrals, which obviously we see it all over socials now. She wanted tropical. She wanted bright colours. The theme was tropical. So she'd gone for this orange. And even her mum's reaction was caught on camera, and her mum was like, oh no, please don't. And I think the inspo, if I remember rightly, came from like a Kim K picture that she'd seen, which was orange.
Right.
We changed it up a little bit. And we'd done that. So obviously going into it, because I went to the gender reveal with her, went over, did filming, did the gender reveal, walked in and saw everyone's reactions. Jamie and Adam that owned In The Style at the time, I met a few times, they're like, you're responsible for this. I was like, listen, I just made it. I did not design this.
Just to make it.
Don't shoot the messenger. But we had a good laugh about it. And she looked amazing. If I had her figure, I'd wear it. Maybe not for a gender reveal, but for a night out, it was just fun. She's
a good crack, Charlotte.
This is it. It's fun.
Exactly.
If you're doing anything, if there's no fun element in it, why do it?
Yeah.
So she's just fun, and it was an amazing night, and she loved it. And the boot and the glove and everything in between. I mean, the comments on social media, even if you didn't like it, I don't care. Comments on it.
It's good engagement.
My engagement went right up. It went viral. It was in every magazine, every newspaper, everything online. Even if you laugh at it, I'd still got some orders from it.
Yeah. Oh, well, fair enough. There you go. It brings people to your page, and then people can see, well, you actually make really nice dresses as well.
But from the spectrum of doing beautiful prom and bridal to an orange glittery gender reveal swimsuit, we do everything in between. This is the thing. So we're custom and made to order. There's nothing that I can't make. However, there are certain things that I won't make just because it takes too much time.
Well, I asked you to make me some glittery...
what did you ask?
Yeah, do you remember? I wanted some like jogging bottoms, but they were made out of sequin. And you were like, no, I'm not doing it. I break too many needles.
No, I'd have to hand stitch it. But the weird thing is, I'm sure you sent me a picture. I was like, I actually made myself some of these 20 years ago. That makes me feel really old. And now they're back in.
I saw Amanda Wakely wearing a funky pair of pants, and she had like a hoodie on with it. I was like, oh my God, that looks really cool.
They're really uncomfortable. You do not want those. Well, I wore them.
Yeah, I ended up buying some off ASOS, which were just basically like gold pants. I just thought, do you know what? These get used for a photo shoot and never used again.
MC Hammer.
Yeah. They're actually like big flares, but anyway, I'll wear them once and then.
Well, you'll have to send me a picture of those.
They'll go into the content Elle-Sera box and get used as like a background or something.
I have about 80,000 pictures on my phone for just sheer content, and it's just finding something on it is.
No, it's crazy. Even keywords don't work anymore.
No,
it's crazy.
I thought it was just me.
What? So the Geordie Shore girls. I love the Geordie Shore girls. I think they're so down to earth. I really like them, and I'm glad to say that you think that too, and you like working with them.
I mean, all of them have been round. I mean, they've stayed over at the house. We've been on nights out. Charlotte, Crosby. I mean, I'd never watched the programme, but I've heard some things of what happened in the programme, and I do think they probably get a bad reputation from things that they did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We all did stupid stuff. Thank the Lord that a camera crew wasn't on me at the time, because luckily just Max Spielman had to deal with it every weekend.
Yeah,
and I'd take my
exactly.
disposable in. But I mean, we've all done silly things. It's just, it could come back to haunt them as now they've gone into later life. They've got husbands, they've got families. But I love them. They're really down
nice
to
girls.
earth. And they're the only ones that have ever offered to pay.
Well, this is my next question, because you've made lots of clothes for notable people. Dish the dirt. Like, who's an absolute rat bag? Who's an absolute bitch? I had Steph Ledigo on here the other day. She was talking about parties and stuff like that, and we kind of came to the same conclusion as like some people are absolute arseholes. And
I have a blacklist.
Yeah, go on.
And I think that there needs to be
names. Who's on your blacklist?
I'm not going to say any names. You're going to be really disappointed.
Okay,
I don't show and tell. I can tell stories.
Okay,
you may be able to guess who they are.
Tell us some stories.
I'm not going to be saying names. The funny bits, I'll say names and the people that I like, but the really horrifying stories, I mean, I'd probably get sent to court. So,
no.
So, I do have a blacklist.
Okay.
Of celebrities that I refuse to work with.
What did they do that they got themselves on this blacklist in your little black book?
Right, let's have a little think. So we've got like £500 dresses that they may have asked for 24 hours before their event, knowing that they're going to the event for 6 months. 24 hours before, they've asked me for a dress. I've stayed up all night making it myself, spent time away from my husband, my family, from my bed, and then shipped it off to them for them never to hear back from them again. No thank you, no tag, nothing. And then we always say before they borrow the dress, please tag, please post, anything that you can do. Really appreciated.
Yeah.
And then you need to send the dress back. And then we send all the details, send the dress back.
Yeah.
75% of the dresses come back, and about maybe 10 to 20% come back in a state that it is horrifying.
Like what? What do they do to it?
The worst one, I've never worked with her before, and she keeps asking me, and I'm like, do you not remember what you sent me back? That is what you think of me. So you're all fun and games now, but once you've got the dress, it's radio silence. So she sent back a dress that had cake on it, sick on it, leaves on it, vomit on it, dog piss on it.
Wow. What a great night
then
for her.
Stuffed it in a bag. I mean, that's what I could see and smell. And from the show that it was featured in, what I picked up was, I could see it on the dress. Then shoved it into a bag, a crusty, sweaty bag, and left it for 5 to 6 weeks. And that's when I got it back with mould growing on it then.
Great.
And it was like a £500 dress. So I've pulled it out and just been like, Who is
this grot bag?
Dressed once or twice and never dressed again.
Oh, wow.
And then there's other funny stories, but I was known at one point as a Towie dressmaker. So we're talking old school Towie, before influencers were a thing, before social media, content creators was a thing.
Yeah.
It was the early days of Instagram, those lovely innocent days when a picture was a picture.
I know, and you get loads of engagements.
Yeah.
You didn't have to pay people.
1,000 likes immediately.
Social media agents. And I'm not joking. From my experience anyway, these agents haven't got a freaking clue. And I'm like,
I've worked with quite a few agents. And no, they haven't. But it was the good old innocent days of Instagram, and they didn't have stylists. They came direct to me, and they would ask for clothes. They'd be so engaging. They'd be so thankful. They'd be so grateful. Like I said, it's not something that I've bought from a factory, slapped a label on it, put it in a nice pretty box, and then shipped it to them. I've personally made to fit them as well, because someone like Fern McCann, she's quite tall, she's got a slender body, completely different to Gemma Collins.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to get something that looks absolutely unreal and couture for 12 quid off PLT or something. So it's been made to measure, and they've asked specifically for it in this colour, in this fabric, and for a certain event. So in the good old days of early Towie, I was known as Towie dressmaker. I did every single person on that show. I even went down, stayed with Jess Wright's family for a week when Nanny Pat was alive.
Oh.
She babysat me in their kitchen, and I was basically like chained to a breakfast table, making full outfits for full week in their kitchen. That was for Jess's 30th, but that went on the cover of OK magazine.
Oh, right,
next to Mark and Michelle. Obviously, Michelle's a northern lass as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, absolutely stunning. Stunning. And I've never really fancied Mark.
No, not for me.
Right, yeah.
But does it? But like
he
doing
walked
that
into a room and I was like,
oh,
silent.
really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because he's like famous.
No.
Because I remember seeing David Beckham in Rosso and I was like, whoa.
That's different. That's different.
He was real, like star quality.
But I don't watch television. I'm not bothered however famous they are, unless they are famous.
No, I've
TV
met Mark
reality
Wright
stars.
and not for me. Like,
Really?
just didn't have an effect on me whatsoever.
Oh, he walked in the room.
No.
I mean, it was a small kitchen. It wasn't. And I was like, fit. I never ever thought he was fit before then, but I was like,
no,
fit.
Jamie Redknapp. I met all these people and not like, honestly, I just think you're lucky to be meeting me. Like, that's actually how I come into the day. Like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Melissa. Yeah, nice to meet you, you know.
Well, I'm never like, oh my God.
There's only
my
a
God.
couple of people I've been like starstruck by.
Who have you been starstruck by?
David Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
Even
allowed,
Ronaldo,
though.
I wasn't. Met him at Chester Races.
no, I'm
and he
not-
was
I'm
like
not in
spotty and wrung
I
at
don't
the time.
find him fit,
No. And who else?
I love that we're using
Jackie
this
Collins.
time. Who's fit? Who's that?
Yeah, Jackie Collins. She,
they're famous.
Yeah, like mega, like
Yeah.
really talented. Yeah.
Reality TV stars, I don't really watch very much television.
me
Unless
neither.
one of my outfits is in it, I'll catch it. But I'm not, I think that's probably why I get on with them, because I'm not fazed by them. I'm like, hi,
Well,
this is what I'm doing. Do you want a dress? When I meet them. And I went down to Essex, and Danielle had a boutique at the time, and we did this Towie prom. They'd meet me, they'd meet Danielle, pictures, I'd have the measurements taken, I'd make the prom dress, and we did that in collaboration. So it was, I mean, it did its job in the time, but I've completely moved on from
doing
there.
the front like of OK magazine for Jess Wright's 30th. Does that bring you, because okay, so there's lots of stuff that around these days, right, where you get people who say, oh, I'm having a party and can you provide something for our event, and then it backfires on them, because then whoever they've asked to provide whatever service it might be might go to the papers and say, this doesn't pay my bills or whatever. But for you,
Yes.
did it really work? I mean, you got a lot of, you've built an unbelievable social media following by not having to spend anything, you didn't have to pay anyone.
No.
You've just provided a dress. So actually for you, I think it has worked, that strategy.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference as well between our businesses, is that I've never paid for ads, marketing or anything. I've never paid an influencer. I point blank refuse to pay an influencer. The celebrities or influencers tend to come to me. Yes, I will make you a dress. It is bespoke service, but I also then want that dress back, and I also want a tag. That is that kind of back scratching, because you're going to be wearing something that nobody else has, that fits you perfectly, that elevates your pictures and your social media. Why should I, one, pay you for that, because you've come to me anyway, and then two, expect you to just then sell it on Vinted or Depop for a tenner afterwards? Hell no.
Yeah.
That
But
ain't how I work.
They probably works really well for them anyway, sending it back.
The majority of them do. Like I said, about 80% of it comes back. But there are some that I've had screaming down the phone to me that, why should I send it back? I don't have time to go to the post office and send it back. I no longer dress those people.
Right.
So get it in a bag, get it back to me. And then I don't, it's not like I'm scrapping around for dresses. It is the principle of it. These were the terms and conditions before sending it to you. They still work after.
Okay,
you've got the dress.
so now it's like it's been bespoke made to that celebrity. What do you then do with the dress when it comes back to you if it's been bespoke made?
but we use it for shows, we use it for shoots.
Right.
We also then we're big on sustainability. So if we can't then resell it ourselves and at least get back the minimum that it's cost to make, then we'll donate it to local charities. We donate it to schools and colleges for prom, underprivileged teens that can't afford a dress. Like, that's far more important than £10 for that celebrity.
You could use it as an asset and put it on a website or an app like the one I was telling you before, By Rotation.
Yeah.
And you could put it on there, and then you're now looking at those dresses as, these are my assets.
Yeah.
They're going to now earn me money, because that's all you're doing anyway. You're renting it out anyway, but they're not paying for it. What they're paying you with is their social media account and hopefully a bit of like advertising, etc.
It costs nothing for them to tag. Obviously, their value is dependent on who they are, and they want to put a value to those tags and those credits. But I mean, there's a lot of stylists that don't even tag or credit. It's just when you work behind the scenes, when you're not the celebrity, you work behind, you're a makeup artist, you're a hairdresser, you're a stylist. Come on, you know the score. It's all about the tags. It's
I
all
always see
about
that.
that
There's some
promotion.
outfits that I always see on, like, let's say like Amanda Holden or wherever. Then who else does it? Tess Daly. She never tags where her clothes are from. She'll tag the stylist, and then the stylist might put it on. But if he doesn't, I'm like, where is that from?
Yeah, where is it going to be? The tag of let me have a think. Let me think who I have dressed and then didn't get tagged and then had to beg for a tag. So I'm sewing and telling here. For example, Fern McCann.
Okay.
So I made something very, very last minute. It might have been for Pride of Britain, something like that. And it was based on an inspo pic from someone else. It was a body. And I said, let's go for the body. The stylist wanted to go for a crop. It came. She didn't like how cropped it was. There was very little fabric. Had it reworked somewhere else in London, and then said that they had made it, didn't tag me, didn't give me any credit, did a full YouTube on it to say that the stylist had designed it and that this other person had made it.
Wow.
Fuming, as you can imagine. So now I don't work with that stylist. And I'm Northern.
And whose fault's that? The stylist's fault, Fern's fault? Whose fault's that? A bit of both.
I'm not saying it. I've worked with this person for a lot of years. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So I messaged that person a couple of months later. I think they asked for something else. And I was like, are you kidding me? No. This is why I already, like, you've done this.
So you explained it?
Of course, yeah. I'm not just going to be like grudgy and, this is why I'm not doing it. Learn from that. And then don't do it with somebody else.
Yeah, listen, I'm not doing it because this wasn't cool.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Fern. Love Fern.
And then
I've met her. I've had like 3 bottles of Prosecco with her. I've been to many events with her. Love Fern. It's just, it belittles the company.
And it also belittles the work that you've done, the time and the effort that you put into it.
I'm not just slapping it in a bag and then sending it off. It's handmade. Like, you've got to give some credit where credit is due.
What did they say when you brought that up to them? Did they
They were apologetic.
Right.
And I'd say, and she'd said, oh, I didn't do that. And I just linked her YouTube that she'd actually made because I'd watched the video and I wasn't mentioned once. 24 hours before, I'd stayed up all night and I wasn't linked or credited or anything. And then when they put it on social media, had to ask. So they put where the alteration was from and tagged them, but had to ask to be tagged as the original designer and the original maker.
And did that happen?
On one picture, I think.
Right.
And I was fuming. I was really, really angry.
I know.
But you can't let that eat you up. It happens all the time. It happens weekly. That's just one instance. It happens weekly. It's just part and part of business. You've got to have a thick skin. You've got to move on from it. You learn from it. And then obviously now we have a legal document that we send over and you can e-sign it. And then if you're taking this dress, even if it doesn't ever reach you, if it's got lost with Royal Mail, yay. It's your responsibility and you tag and, work together. This is how you get a working relationship. Some stylists I love. I absolutely love them. I will work forever and a day with them. Some celebrities I work with, but the celebrities can't, if they've got a stylist working with them, they don't know how they are interacting with other brands and people. So you can't sometimes blame the celebrity.
Apologies for interrupting this podcast, but I need to ask a favour. If you're enjoying this podcast so far, then please hit that subscribe button right now. I'll be straight up and honest that I want to see this podcast grow and flourish into something that I'm really proud of. And the only way that I can do that is with your help. So if you've ever learned anything useful from these conversations, then please return the favour by liking, rating, subscribing, and maybe even sharing it with your friends. Thanks very much. Let's get back to the episode. Who would be your dream to dress?
Ooh.
And why?
I've got like a hit list. I mean, there's the massive A-listers. Beyonce. I mean, just tour outfits.
Yeah.
I want to go on tour. I want to do some outfits. Even Kylie.
Yeah.
Like her tour outfits. Lady Gaga. I mean, she wears meat.
Yeah.
The world's your fashion oyster there. They're really big hitters. I'm trying to think of like possibly more realistic
Okay,
UK.
like UK-based,
Yeah.
like A-listers maybe.
Yeah, I've got some things in pipeline.
Who's the
That's
biggest
bubbling
celebrity
on.
that you think, who's the biggest celebrity that you've dressed?
It's different for different reasons, I think. There's celebrities that I've dressed that I don't really watch television, so I don't know how big they are outside of social media world.
Yeah.
Some people have 9 million followers and 32 companies like Charlotte Crosby.
Yeah.
She can sell a lot of products.
Yeah.
And she is so good at, if she really believes in it, she's so good at selling it. It's organic, it's natural. She'll talk to camera and she doesn't expect a thing. And then she says to you, how much do you want for the dress? And I'm like, your validation of my brand and your promo of it is enough. It's fine. But then there's some celebrities that have got massive, massive following, but I don't sell one product from them.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Because they're not following for fashion.
Yeah.
They're following because they like them.
Yeah.
So you might follow Stacey Solomon because you love her personality and her home things and her home life. Are you going to follow her as a fashionista to buy a dress that I've made for her for a red carpet? Possibly not. I mean, there's different celebrities for different things. So I can't really give you an answer to that. But there are
It's not about
celebrities.
followers, I suppose. It's about, yeah, I completely agree with you. Like you might get somebody who's like a bit of a micro-influencer, like 30,000 followers or something.
Even
but
10,000.
Yeah. Who
even
are
less than 10,000.
Yeah, who like a killer dress, killer outfit. I remember a killer outfit that you made for Holly Hagan. I think it was based on a Kylie Jenner.
Oh, the WAP.
Yeah, it was based on Kylie Jenner's.
I've sold so many of them.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's usually drag queens in America.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's
really hard to make that
Didn't
outfit.
Kylie like repost it as well?
Kylie Jenner reposted. Now,
So that's
I don't know.
must
Are
be
you
great.
a fan of the Kardashians? What's your thoughts
Surely,
of
like they'd be on
Kardashians?
your hit list, just purely from a business point of view. Jesus
from a
Christ,
business
I would
point of
love
view?
I would love Kris Jenner to be stood there going, "I'm an Elle-Sera lady."
From a business point of view, yes. But they promote that many products. Would it not get lost in the haze of
Who
the
gives a
Kardashians? I do have a friend that obviously put a palette in front of Kim Kardashian,
exactly, Charlotte.
and that just kickstarted her business. I think, obviously, like Charlotte Crosby's outfit was based on a Kim Kardashian. I did sell a handful of them, a very, very unique look to them. But like I said, different celebrities for different things.
If you're
Completely.
making something rinse, repeat, like, okay, the one that Holly wore, and we should say that this is like a leopard print outfit that was for...
Got a little bit of a very similar...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm
Very
big-
similar print.
Everybody knows I'm a big leopard print fan.
So it was a Cardi B WAP.
It was a Cardi B WAP. So it was an outfit that you made for Halloween for her.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes. So
So-
it was Kylie Jenner wears this outfit in Cardi B WAP's video, and then it's like an alternate leopard print knicker. It's got like a corset with it, then this long leopard print chiffon, and then these boot covers.
So
Things that I
if
may
you're
have
selling
never...
a lot of them, Would you, here we have it on screen, me and Carrie are looking at it now, and we'll drop it in for everybody.
Let's have a look. I wonder if my comparison, and I will say, I'm not big-headed, but mine, because she did repost a few of them.
I was like, great.
Ugh, it looks like a Shen version of mine. Mine is
like so good.
It's up there.
And Holly really pulled it off. It looked amazing.
Identical.
So would you not just like, if you're making so many of these and people are coming to you like, and you're getting repeat orders for drag queens or whatever, would you not just like make, again, loads of them and then just like have them in stock and then just promote them?
So
instead of doing it all made to measure, every time an order comes through, you make it, instead of just like, would you stockpile it?
Goes right. So I have two kind of prongs to the business. For me, that goes against the ethos of the main prong of the business. So it's made to measure. So I started Renee K to be made to measure. It's not a scalable business money-making thing, but it's what is in my heart. And I started it because I was what they call a disproportionate figure. So I wasn't a size 8 top shop back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I had boobs, I had an arse, I was disproportionate. My waist was smaller than my bum. And then obviously I've got boobs and I've had a breast reduction. So they were the size of heads naturally. Nothing would fit me. So my grandma taught me to sew when I was 5. She was called Renee. My middle name is Renee. So there's a lot of like heart and soul into my business. I was sewing since I was 5. I went to university to study sociology and psychology, not fashion. I already knew how to sew. Why would I go and waste 3 years learning to do something that I already knew how to do it? Yeah. I wish I would have gone and done fashion now. But I did sociology and psychology, which helps me actually massively in my business. Massively, much more than I ever thought it would. So I had to make clothes fit me. So I had to buy a size 16 to 18 and tailor it.
Right.
So I started alterations, tailoring, customization. I would get old Levi jeans for £3 off Leeds Market when I was at uni. I'd scuzz them up, and like you mentioned, David Beckham, he just started wearing like jeans with holes in and bleach on. And everyone was like, what is this? So I used to get in the garden, put bleach on it, get like a Brillo pad on it. I used to get like a BB gun, shoot stuff at it, and then sell for £130 from a £3 pair of Levi's. So the way that I started my business was from customization, making one-offs. And then I thought, I can't just make one-offs. What if I make 10 of them? Mm-hmm. So there's 2 prongs to it. There's the made to measure aspect, and then there's a ready to wear.
Right.
So for you in your business, you're the made to measure, and a multivitamin that you can buy in Asda is your ready to wear. Why would you buy a ready to wear?
Well, just for like, you know, keep that's I feel like actually bread and butter sometimes.
It is the bread and butter.
And then you've got your made to measure on top. That's so, like a nice to have.
And we have different entry level points what I mean. It's into the business. Point. So we have ready to wear that's standard sizing in for a standard. So we have petite and we have tall and standard sizing. So everything from 6 to about a 22, depending on the style. They're great. We sell them on a third like party platform, Silk Thread, for instance, little black dress, and we sell those, and you can buy them for £95. Still seems a lot, but we've got a double lead top half, nice and supportive, and it's thick scuba, and it's still all made in house.
Yeah,
you can still put some basic measurements in there so that we know that we're sending you the right measurements. I'd rather have that than a stock room full of returns.
Right.
So we've still got that element to it, but the made to measure is something that is not offered very much. Now, there might be a reason for this. That could be that it might not be a feasible, scalable business. It keeps me in holidays, the ones that I don't particularly like to go on.
Yeah.
And it keeps me paying my bills, and it keeps me happy. So I've got the bread and butter side to the business, and then I've got the bespoke couture side. And then we want to go up even more. What we've got in the pipeline is we want to go up to the really couture bespoke bridal. So you're looking at £5,000 plus per dress.
Well, I completely agree with you. I was chatting to another fashion designer friend of mine called Kirsty Doyle. She's from Liverpool. She feels your pain exactly. She's like, listen, I just can't. We are making everything in house. It's made to measure. She was like making like flares and dresses and this, that, the other. She's like, people don't understand. These are like the skill that goes into this.
Yeah.
And she said, we just cannot compete with like fast fashion and Zara and like everything else that's popping up on the market everywhere. Like it's so hard to compete with that. So she's now fully gone into bridal. Fully.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, this is it. Like I said, we started off doing prom, so we'd be really busy for about 3-4 months of the year and then kind of be scrambling around for business the rest of the year. When I started going into bridal, something that I never wanted to do, but it gives me business all year round. And really, it was just what I was already doing, but in a slightly different colour palette. And obviously it changes seasonally. So there wasn't a massive jump. And by the time I came around to bridal, I'd really honed that kind of niche market that I had with stretch wear, no zips, no buttons. And if they do take the measurements and they're not quite right, we've got an error of margin because it's stretched. They're all lined in scuba, helps smooth, support and sculpt the body. So I'd like to say there's not much that can go wrong with it. Obviously, when you're sat at a machine and it's day to day, I feel like I'm in like Coronation Street, Knicker Factory. We feel like we're churning dresses out, but every single one is made to measure. So like today, I've made 5 bridesmaids dresses this morning.
Right. You are rapid though, bloody. I've been sat there
quick.
Sometimes and she has like, yeah, I'll eat a cup of tea, no worries. And I'm like, oh, I need a dress for this, that and the other. And literally before I finish my cup of tea, she's made it. She's measured me and she's made it.
I think, you know what, the most kind of annoying question that I get, and I know why people ask it, but it kind of makes my back prickle, is how long does it take to make a dress?
Doesn't matter. I've spent 25 years honing this skill to make it in 20 minutes.
But I know what the customer is asking is, how far in advance do I need to order?
Right.
That's what they're asking me. If you are another business or you're being nosy and you say, oh, so how long does it take to make a dress? I really hate answering that. I will tell you. I'll tell you now.
It doesn't really matter because it's about like, you know, it's about structuring your time. So if you know, right, well, we've got a bridal party that needs to be ready for June, but then they want the dress because they want to pick their shoes, the hair accessories, they want this and they want to try it on.
They want tweaks. One's got bigger boobs, one's got small boobs, one's got
They've lost a bit of weight for the wedding, whatever. Yeah. So yes, you could make it 3 months in advance and send it out to them if that's their request, if they wanted to, but or you could leave it to the last minute and then send it a week before and make sure.
Well, we usually say your wedding's on the 30th of August and you want your dresses by the 10th of August. I'm not going to start making them until the 7th of August.
Right.
So we've got like a 3 to 4 day kind of time. So if your delivery's on the 10th, I'm cutting them say that's on a Friday. I'm cutting them on a Monday, Tuesday. I'm making them on a Tuesday. I'm shipping them the same day. You'll get them Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
that is the time frame that we'll work towards. And that seems really quick, but we get booked up 3 to 4 months in advance during bridal season. So you need to be booking your dresses 6 to 9 months in advance.
It's just booking that time slot.
Exactly. So if you're expecting a delivery on the 10th, my team will then email you on the 3rd saying, right, final measurements. So you've got all that time to train, lose weight. If you're pregnant, if you're putting weight on, if you're 12 and you're going to shoot up 3 inch, it's fine. Just pre-order it and all the details.
Get your booking slot in.
Yeah, it's a pre-order. You sew it. It's for that sewing slot, so you're ensuring the sewing slot. But like I said, the question I get asked is, how long does it take you to make a dress? And I hate that question. And I get why they're asking it. They're asking how far in advance do I need to book my dress? But if you're being nosy, you want to know how long it takes me to make a bridesmaid's dress, it's 1 hour.
Well, they look great.
Thank you. But that 1 hour encompasses 25 years of working within my business.
I don't even think that's that bad. Like, that's like, I would say that, it probably does take about an hour.
I think people that are not in fashion, it blows their mind. So if I was to make a beaded, corseted £5,000 wedding dress, it's going to take me 1 to 2 weeks. That's why it's £5,000. And all the overheads and the fabrics are expensive. You're working with silks, you're working with crystals and beads and all the rest of it. We have no zips, no buttons. It's all stretch, premium stretch, 2 layers of fabric, 5 meters of fabric. It takes us an hour. And that's why we can sell it at the price point that we do.
Well, I was just going to say, there's a lady that I know, she's called Susie Turner Couture.
That's it. Do you know her?
Yeah. No, I've actually met her a couple of times. But the reason I haven't purchased one of her dresses because they start at 100,000.
Oh,
And
okay.
they can go north of that as well. So I think the average price is about 150 grand. But I mean,
But what I want to see this
yeah,
dress.
and you can, because
And I'll be
I mean,
able to
they
give
are
like
hand done.
where's she based?
She's based down in Brighton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I thought you were going to say like Ukrainian or something, because
No,
there's
no.
amazing designers coming out of
yeah, they absolutely
like the
are.
beaded, the crystals, the corsets, the
Yeah.
but all
So-
our machinery and our studio is set up for what we do.
Yeah,
so to go out
absolutely.
of that realm, it's almost like setting up a whole new business to start doing boning,
But
corsetry
I feel
bras,
like,
and
I think for you personally, would you not want to push yourself to a level like you know you can do this with your eyes closed almost? Do you want to push yourself to that
push
level?
myself. Push myself.
No, you might be busy, but do you want to challenge yourself like creatively to do
Every day, every single day is a new challenge. So
Yeah.
it's not, I do something different every day. There's only so much that you can in your head and consume. And I grow every day. And there's lots of other things that I do outside the business. I work with charities, I teach. That's enough.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, and I've had burnout, I've had really bad health, and that is now something that I'm going back on. So I'm actually doing less. I'm doing less orders, and I'm working smarter, not harder. And we've got less staff. So now instead of them going at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm working until 2 o'clock in the morning to pay all their staff wages, because I've got to make every product that goes out, I've just got less staff and I work less, and I can spend time with my little boy and my husband and my friends and social life, and maybe book a holiday where I don't feel the anxiety is 110.
Yeah.
Like, we're told that we can have it all. Firmly believe that, but not all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not. As a feminist as well, I piss myself off thinking and saying that, but it's not realistic. If you think you can have it all at the same time, you are on a very, very fast road to burnout. I've been there, I've done it, I've been very, very poorly, hospitalised, and I've now had to look at my health, because if I don't have my health, I don't have a business, I don't have a relationship, I can't be a good mum. So it all is around there. So I know what you're saying is push myself. And
No, I don't think you should. No, I just mean like, would you challenge
out of
yourself?
my comfort zone.
Yeah, in terms of like, okay, so, you can work with you don't want to work with sequins, but
Yeah.
maybe you want to work with, I don't know, feathers or something like, one dress that costs like 10 grand, but it's like taking you like weeks to do. I don't know. It might be therapeutic or something, I'm thinking. Almost.
I just feel like I've been there with my business before.
Yeah.
I've been on the verge of bankruptcy. I've had £5 in my pocket. My shop that I had years and years ago, we had to get an IVA. We had to put the house up against it. It took me years to pay that off. I had nothing because I did these, not vanity projects, but things that didn't pay the bills to push and show what I can. I know my realms.
Yeah.
I know what I can make. I'm confident in doing that. And it's not like I know everything. I've already done it. I am not going to put myself to the brink of that bad health again just to do a vanity project so it looks good on for a social media post.
Yeah.
If someone's not going to buy it for £10,000, I ain't making it.
No. Listen, no, yeah, exactly. It's vanity can be an insanity. I always say this. There's a lot of
Definitely, yeah.
vanity metrics, and sometimes I look at
Yes.
people and what they're doing. I'm like, why are they doing that? It's
Yeah.
literally just for vanity. Like, 'cause
And
they
I do
actually
feel
don't
bad
need
because
to
I get
do it.
these inspo pictures, and I get there's a girl recently from Tower that sent me like a Versace dress. It's like a £30,000 dress. I could have this by Thursday. I was like,
No,
yeah,
no.
here's a link for it. It's 30 grand. Go and buy it yourself. I was like, that would take 3 months to make. The people, like, I find it quite sad that this I sound really old now, but this younger generation, they can't see from what they get to how it started. They don't know the process. They think they buy it off Shen for £3, it arrives at the door 3 weeks later, and that's it. Somebody has to make that. And the reason why you're paying £200 from me is that I can show you the entire timeline where that fabric was woven, what packaging we've used, where it's come from, who's made it, who's emailing you.
Yeah.
I'm DMing you back or whatever. And that is the process. And people don't want to pay for it, a younger generation. The people in the know and know what that is worth and the value will pay for it. Those are the people that I'm trying to get to. I'm not trying to sell my clothing to someone that pays £7 off a fast fashion website. You're not my audience.
No, you're right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You mentioned something to me just before the podcast that I thought was interesting. So we'll go there. You said to me that you had started mapping your period and planning your business around it.
Yes. So I hit on. Okay. I'll go back a bit because this sounds a little bit loopy. So I'm literally 1 month into this.
By the way, we've got 5 minutes left.
Okay. Oh, God. So I'm about a month into this. I've got and when I research it, I've got like ADHD. So when I research it, I'm like,
you're like
I could write a
hyper-focused.
doctorate about it. So I'm a month in and it's called menstrual mapping.
This sounds great.
Why have I never done this before?
Yeah.
I feel like a light bulb has gone off.
Really?
Yeah. So I never knew, and I'm ashamed to say this, but at 42, I never knew kind of when my period was and what that meant for me in terms of mood, hormones,
energy levels,
working out, how I was going to be with my husband, how I was going to be at work, when to work, when not to work. So I've only just got into this. So I would say that my health has, over the past 10 years, been horrific, especially since I had my little boy. I've got B12 and iron deficiency, so I've got pernicious anemia. That affects my business massively. And so the past month, I've looked into this menstrual mapping.
Is that caused by anything like your menstrual cycle being too heavy? Are you losing a lot of blood, or is it just something?
Well, yeah, so our menstrual cycles are usually like 28 days. Mine's like about 35. So I bleed heavy, solidly.
Okay.
This is probably too much information, but
No,
that's
we
what
talk
we're
about
here
all
for.
kinds, yeah.
So I bleed heavily and solidly for about 10 days.
Right.
And it is painful.
And
so
you're
I've got
losing a lot of blood.
Oh, yeah. I am drained. And I've endometriosis and adenomyosis. So I've had to have some work done, my scar tissue for my section, adhered to like my uterus, and it was just a big old mess in there.
Yeah.
So I've had that done about 2 years ago, life-changing. But the fight that I had on my hands before that, to get to that point, to be heard, to be told that, I was bleeding every day for 10 months, heavily every day, to be told that that's normal by a male doctor.
I know.
It's very frustrating.
Can you imagine if like some guy was just like losing blood constantly for 10 days?
So the doctor had said, no, we've not long, but the doctor had said, it's completely normal when I got some results back. So I had some cysts, I had some fibroids, I was bleeding heavily. I was done. I was dragging myself about, and then the male doctor on the phone was like, it's completely normal. So I just said to him, if you were bleeding out of your penis every day for 10 months and you had 2 cysts on your testicles, and I said to you, just deal with it, just take some painkillers, it's completely normal, what would you say? He was silent, and then he said, I'll refer you to a specialist. I was like, thank you. It's only taken 4 years. I just had enough. So if you don't fight for your own health, no one's going to, I was glued to that chair. I'd said to the doctors, if I'm not moving, you only have 10 minutes with me. I have all day, so I'm not moving from this chair until you go on this health journey with me. I don't want a plaster for a massive gaping wound. I don't want antidepressants. I want something that fixes this. So I've gone on that journey. I've gone down the B12 and the iron. I take your tablets, obviously. Helped massively. It's turned my life around. So I inject myself with B12 every 2 to 3 weeks. Wow. It has changed my life, changed my business, changed my health.
What are you taking for iron?
So I take an iron spray.
Okay.
Don't take tablets.
No.
Your body can only absorb so much iron within a 48-hour cycle. Iron tablets do nothing. You're only really supposed to take them for 3 months at a time. It's really harsh on your tummy. They're either going to go right through you or give you constipation.
Yeah.
So, and you don't need to, you don't need to go to your doctor to get iron supplements. Obviously, always speak to a trained professional medical
you don't
advisor.
want to overdose on iron either, and you want to be absorbed it and not throwing your cash away.
So I take an iron spray, buccal cavity, bypasses the stomach straight into your bloodstream, bang, and then that gets my iron up. I haven't gone for an infusion yet. I've managed to manage my iron that way, but B12 injections, even though the doctor said that I didn't need them. But I went on this morning, talked about it, postnatal health, B12, iron. Every single woman should be given something as part of that.
Mine is not deficient, but it's low. I had my bloods done last week, and they were like, you're in the normal range. I don't know.
I love the normal range.
Yeah, but he said it is on the lower side. So I was like, okay.
So you're deficient?
Well, yeah. So I now take a dropper of B12.
Yeah.
So I don't bleed that heavy though, so I don't know why it is.
Yeah, but B12's not your periods. So iron is. So if you've got low ferritin and you bleed heavily, I mean, every woman's iron deficient at some point, aren't they? So
I mean, I eat well, but I mean, I'm whatever. I might maybe need to eat a bit more red meat or something, or spinach.
If you're low, eating more steak every week, it's not going to
it's not going to come back
iron levels.
So,
if you're deficient, then you need to supplement it.
Yeah.
But for me, with all the problems that I had, so the B12, the iron, the heavy periods, the long menstrual cycle, I have just had my mind blown by menstrual mapping. So in a nutshell, we've got 4 seasons. We've got winter, spring, summer and autumn. And that is over, say, 4 weeks. So your menstrual cycle. So give a week to each. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that happened and that we go through these cycles in a month,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a man does that in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
So that's why my husband gets up every day and he's like, amazing. And some days
like libido is the highest in the morning. That's why they're on bonk every time they wake up.
Morning glory.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and I'm like, what? Yeah. How do I feel today?
Yeah.
How have I slept? How am I feeling? What have I got on today? I just didn't even think that he got up and didn't feel any of those things. He just felt his normal base level every day. So that kind of winds me up because I think, why do men not do more when they have all this energy? Because when I'm at my peak and I've got testosterone surging and I'm at my summer and I'm ready to go, I feel like I can take on the world. And men feel like that every day.
I know.
It's frustrating. So I've started menstrual mapping for particularly my business. Right. So there's certain times of the month where I'm going to book in to do my accounts, my admin. It's about project planning. There's certain times where I'm going to give myself that duvet day, eat crap, stay in bed, watch Netflix, just zone out. There's other times where I'm going to get out and exercise and that I know that I can get 20 dresses done within 3 days. That is like my proactive project week. So I've looked at this and my mind is blown. So now I'm doing my diary thinking, right, I'm going to put a meeting in there. I'm not going to put that meeting there because I won't even be able to string a sentence together. I won't have any energy. I'm not going to be doing a 9 o'clock at that morning. I'm going to do a 3 o'clock on the Thursday instead. And I just feel it is completely changed my life. So menstrual mapping.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it quite a lot in terms of training. So like, and if you need to have a challenging conversation with someone, I would do it when you are most fertile because you're going to be...
You're better communication.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you've got more energy, you've got more mental clarity because your testosterone's higher. And in terms of, you're going to do your best lifting in the gym or something like that. Yes. That's why I always say...
It's the autumn phase where it's... Obviously, you have to have a look at your own kind of menstrual cycle, but it's the autumn phase where it's a week maybe before your period where you're feeling bloated, you're feeling just down. But that is the time when our senses are heightened, so you actually notice more things. So that's an ideal time to say do admin or project plan because it's almost like you've got foresight into different things. You might think my house is a mess and everything really irritates you, like the sound of your husband's breathing. You may notice more and it really irritates you. Apply that to business. You're going to notice other things more that you might not have seen when you were pumped and doing something, or when you're in your winter phase and you were resting. When you're on your period, that's winter. You've got to rest. You have to rest because when you're going to bloom in summer, you're not going to have as much fruit on that tree if you've not rested, if you've not done just allow yourself to rest. I've been working for 25 years like I have a man's body and man's hormones, and only the past month have I realised that that's why I've had bad health. That's why I've had burnout. That's when I feel like I'm going to have a mental breakdown from taking on all the invisible labour, all that invisible work as well at home and in business. And I've thought, I'm not going to fight my body anymore. I'm going to work with it and see when I do my best work and then apply that, make my business work around me instead of trying to fight my body and make my body work around my business. So that has blown my mind this past month.
Well, I think that's blown my mind, and I think that is an ideal place to wrap up, really.
Thank you.
But that was such a good chat. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
If everybody wants to go out and buy one of your made-to-measure dresses,
Yes.
where can they get hold of you?
So reneke.co.uk. Social media as well. We're on all of the platforms, Instagram, Reneke Couture. And we're always there. Like you were very vocal with your DMs and on social media. We're literally a message away from a made-to-measure bridal, prom, occasion, swimwear, summer wardrobe, loungewear, you name it. We can make it if it's out of that premium stretch.
And I can vouch for how fabulous
attest.
they
You
are. I
look
wear them
amazing.
all the time.
I should have made you something to wear today.
I know.
Man, missed up.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks.